Today, let's see if I can get the date right this time. It's February 28th, 2022. This is the Finance Committee meeting. And on the committee we have Mr. Jurek, me, Ms. Olafson, Ms. Godfrey, and Ms. Bell. Also with us is Mr. Cooper, Dr. Cooper, Mr. Hurley, Ms. Owens, and Ms. Haynes. So to start off today, we have one thing that we're going to be discussing that we weren't thinking we were going to be discussing it when we were here last, but we probably need to discuss it. There have been some questions that have come up about how the funding formula is put together for us for our Fed funding. Is that Fed funding? Yeah. That I'm
State.
Our state funding. That I would like, in brief anyways, for Ms. Haynes to address why some of the information that some of the funding sources, the source of information that's being provided for creating the funding formula, it might be inaccurate for our district. This could be an issue until there's something that we might be able to do to help fix it. But go ahead.
The funding formula is a long, convoluted formula that the state made up to try to create the fairness of all the money that they're trying to distribute out, of course. There are certain aspects of the formula that, of course, it's going to go on your ADM. They want to know how many students you have in your district. They want to know, all the different statistical things in your district. One of the ones, like all the things, I don't really have a problem with the funding formula in general, and most of the school districts we talk to, the business manager, it's really not a bad formula because what they've created is better than what they had before. However, there's one aspect of the formula that we're having a problem with here in Gaming Room, which is created the wealth of the district. So they're saying that we are the wealthiest district in the entire Berks County, with our median salary is $90,000, and the email that I sent out, or Dr. Cooper sent out, just shows where the median formula or where the median salary comes out for all the districts within the county. The reason this is happening is this organization called the American Community Survey, which is the ACS. It's a survey that's sent out to everybody, or they sample size in each district. The sample size, I don't know if it's just not hitting all the areas in our district that it should be, or is it just focusing perhaps on maybe up there by Douglasville, not over in Amity Gardens, maybe not hitting Birdsboro, because it's saying our salary range is just too high, which then cuts our piece of the pie down to minimal. And we're too wealthy, so you guys can get it from your taxpayers, basically is what they're saying. So this has progressively gotten worse. Like I looked back and saw what it was before. We've been considered wealthy for the last 3 years. It's been getting worse. I've contacted the ACS. I've emailed and I've called and left messages. I'm going to keep pestering them. So I'm going to keep pestering them until they get back to me, because not many people show up at our meetings to educate the community in this type of a forum. But what I'm thinking is that once I can figure out, and if anyone has any information on this, please send it my way. When this ACS, the survey, comes out to the general public, because I don't know who's being surveyed, the timing of it, we could use Mr. Flowers and have him advertise, hey, this affects the funding. That'll be the time that we could send those blasts out through all the social media to the people that we need to get more people involved in this, or find out. But the first thing is I want to find out is who they're saving, because I don't think they're taking the whole district like they should.
So, Kath, when does that survey come out?
She doesn't know.
We don't know.
Right.
I've contacted them, I've emailed them, I've called them, I've left messages, and I'm going to keep nagging as much as I can. I'm going to keep sending the email, keep resending the email until somebody gets back.
So who amongst us has ever had this survey? I've been here for
I've
4
never
years.
taken
I've never
it.
seen it.
I've never taken it.
I have taken it one
Interesting.
time in the time that I lived in Exeter. One time.
Do people even know to take it?
Well, see,
Well, that's the
They
question. We don't know.
probably throw it away.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with, if we've got a 90,000, my assumption is the people that work in Philadelphia are filling that out.
Literally.
They live in Douglasville and they work in Philadelphia, because if you're telling me my median salary is 90,000, you got a bulk of the people that are, they have a sample size, they do it over a 5-year thing, and they have another, it's a whole convoluted thing, if you look on their website to see how they do it. I can't control what, but this is what the state is using. And in order for us to, the state's gonna use this. So what we have to do is figure out how can we make sure that the ACS is actually sampling the entire district, all parts, not just one. So that's where I'm at. I'm still trying to contact them. So, but if anybody gets any information, please send it my way. And I'll
Okay.
deal with it.
All right. So there's no real anything for us to make actionable until she gets some more information. What?
You make too much money, yes.
But that,
I do, me personally.
I'm not even on this committee, but that seems like that would be an access problem. Like the people who should be filling it out might not even have access to it or even understand how to fill it out.
Well, I just went to their website and it says I can fill it out like right now if
Well,
I feel like
let's
it.
do it.
School, like posted?
And but I don't know that that wouldn't impact the numbers that they're going off of right now because that time period's closed. Yeah.
It's a 5-year, over a 5-year period.
And what year are we in?
Sample size and then average them
They'll
all
fill it out
out.
for next year.
There's a whole
It'll be
formula
anything.
they do. This
So
is
they're
gonna
doing
take-
it now from 2015 to 2020?
Yes. Yeah. They have a 2020 data release. It looks like. Yeah. So.
This isn't an overnight fix.
And if the funding formula, the way the formula is funded, it's the fact that they're using this data that's collected by the census. The intent is to make it objective, right, instead of subjective, right? That's the intent. But I guess so the way that it's applied in the funding formula is probably written into the regs. Is that correct?
I'm sorry. Which doors can people entering the school use?
5.
Door
5.
5.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. And so I'm assuming the funding formula, the way it's funded, is written into the regs.
Yeah, there's nothing.
There's nothing we can do about it. That doesn't mean we can't complain to somebody to make it more accurate. But the people to complain to
The
is,
person in charge of sending that form out lives in a school district that's wealthy and they know where to send it.
yeah. But the best we can do is to educate our community that this is why the funding formula is the way it is. If we want it to change, we need to get more participation, I guess. Right.
Yes.
Right, so we have to figure out when it's getting done. And to Kathy's point, we can get a community blast out
Yep.
and make sure that people are participating in it.
Yep.
Because if the sample size is too small, then it's skewed. And then you're,
Don't know
But
who's
we
filling
also-
it out or if they're
You're already
ignoring
off.
it. I don't know what the parameters are.
Well, people fill out
in that
surveys.
area.
Well, at least, because even if we send out a community blast, not everybody's going to do it, but at least it'll be more than the number of people who participated before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they give you sample sizes, like anything like that?
I can't get a hold of anyone to know where they sampled.
Wow.
One person.
Yeah.
I've tried, well, the world is the way it is today,
Yeah.
So I've emailed and I've called and I'm just waiting.
Okay. All right. Any more questions for Kathy on that?
Does anybody have
Kathleen?
any questions about any of the data on that, the funding formula that I put together? There's that lawsuit that's out there, but that's not, it's 5 school districts, it really doesn't.
It won't impact us until there is a determination, and even then it might not. It might not
It might not
change.
even affect us.
Right.
So, there's a lot of people that just think this funding formula is fair the way it is.
Yeah.
We just have one aspect of it. If the community was aware of this survey, we probably be just fine. But because of the survey, we're on the short end of the stick.
Okay. All right. So under grant proposals?
We have two grants that are coming out. One is from the food service. Because of all the food shortages and the cost differential and people charging more for shipping or charging more for items that can't be gotten, they've come out with a grant that they're getting all school districts. It's going to be based on enrollment. Everybody gets a base of $5,000, and then beyond that, it's based on the enrollment of the student base. I don't know what the dollar amount will be. I don't even know how they're proportioning that out, but we just went through the webinar last week, and it's just going to be spent on, we're going to have Nutrition Inc., of course, monitor, and we get the sum of money in, and they can, anything that's not processed food, they can repurchase using this grant money until it's all spent. We'll have 2 years to spend it. So I have a feeling it's going to be pretty substantial.
So it's to cover
The cost of food.
increases in cost of food above and beyond what we've budgeted for.
Yes, anybody that's had any issue with any type of either the supply chain, increased costs, or anything like that, are able to get this money to give to everybody because of the hardships that we face getting the food for the cafeteria.
And that's going to help us so we shouldn't see any increase in cost of lunches and cost of food for kids.
Correct.
Okay.
It should help keep all of that down,
Okay.
based on the dollar. And as soon as I get the dollar amount, I'll let you guys know.
Okay.
And then the other is an energy grant. There's a $500 million competitive Department of Energy grant that's coming out. They're slow walking this a little bit. We may not get all of the details or even be able to know what we need to do to apply for it until the end of 2022. But we do have some HVAC things that could be done, and perhaps this could help us in that area, but more to come. I put on the agenda the center stage lighting and rigging project that's on the agenda to be approved. I just want to make sure nobody has any questions on that. That's that where their CM region came in and did an evaluation, and there were some repairs that need to be done because they're not to code. And in order, we did use a vendor that was CoStar, so that proposal on the agenda is appropriate because it is through CoStar. If we would go out and go get multiple bids, it would cost about $1,500, $1,800, maybe $2,500 per person that comes in. So we just stuck with a CoStar person to get us up to code.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions?
Anyone have any questions on that grant? Not grant. On that that bid. It's going to be under added financial items, I think, for the agenda tonight.
And then finally, I have on here the budget workshop. I just wanted to let you know.
Oh, yeah.
That I have everything in a drive, in a Google Drive, that I'll send you all a link to that, to give you 1 week to review all the data. Okay, so you'll have all your detail by department. If there's something you don't see or you have a question about during the week and you need to quickly ask me, and put some more information out there so everybody may have the same question. Just let me know what your questions are and I'll make sure that the drive is populated. And then everything beyond that will be, I'll have something we'll be discussing on that meeting, and all the administrators will be here on that meeting on the 8th, Tuesday night at 6:30. So I'll be sending out an email no later than tomorrow. I'm going through a little bit.
We might have actually, Kathleen wants to highlight that it's the 8th, because we might have accidentally said the 9th, like
Said
maybe
the
3
9th
times.
before.
So,
It's the 8th. It's Tuesday.
Okay,
We'll be
right.
here Tuesday night at 6:30. But when you go through the building budgets, I want to make you aware that for comparison's sake, I kept the buildings the same as they are right now. Okay, so I didn't advance any money over to the middle school to the primary center. The intermediate center has 3 grade levels, that's not changing. We're moving a grade out of PC and putting one in the middle school. But for comparison's sake, the money's the money. I think you're within 20,000. I increased the budget, I think 20,000, and that might be a little, I might be pulling back some money there again. So finagling money, it's early, but I don't.
so some of the budgets for the buildings will look different because of that, a little bit?
I'll make them look different later.
Oh, okay, I
want you to
see.
be able to see the money the way the money's spent.
Got it.
And the money, I want you to be able, for comparison's sake, so you don't get, that I can see where all the questions will come in if I. move-
Especially since we move through the buildings piece by piece.
Yes,
Yeah.
so I kept it the same for now, and then I'll move the money when it's needed, make sure that, it's in the appropriate place where it needs to be when it's time to use it. It's not gonna increase, it's just gonna be moved to a different building. This will keep it easier for you all to understand, not understand that, you couldn't understand it, but, so it doesn't make it look like there's too many ups and downs and ups and downs. you know.
Okay.
But, any questions on that, you just let me know during the week. I'll have all the budget sheets in the Google Drive for you to play with in there.
Okay.
And that's all I have. Anybody have any?
I don't. Any of the finance committee have any questions? Okay. Any of the assembled have any questions about finance committee? Okay. So all right. So we're good, and our next meeting is what, the 24th?
No, I think it's
28th again.
Other than the budget workshop.
Okay. And then I'll see everybody at the budget workshop next week. Thanks. We're adjourned.